Since December 9th, 2023, an event has gone viral on both domestic and overseas Chinese online platforms. A Chinese restaurant in Tokyo was challenged by a Chinese patriotic netizen, also known as a Little Pink. It triggered a public outcry, and the situation escalated. Let's take a look at what happened. A Chinese online sensation recently went on a business trip in Japan. He came across a restaurant, Chukase Tayago, which makes Chinese food, with a sign at the entrance saying, "No Chinese allowed and no Koreans allowed." He got upset and went inside to complain. I was in Tokyo on a business trip and I found this restaurant, a Chinese restaurant in Japan, but there was a note written on the entrance, "Chinese are not allowed to enter," and then in Korean, "Koreans are not allowed to enter." I don't know what it's supposed to mean. Let's go in and ask. He then entered the restaurant and complained to the owner, claiming that such notices violated the law. The owner responded and then asked him to leave. The Chinese blogger then called the police. Police arrived and told the man that they were unable to make the restaurant remove the sign. They advised him to leave. After the video was posted online, it attracted a lot of attention from different social media platforms. For example, on Platform X, it received close to 30 million views. The blogger later told the media that he had reported the situation to the Chinese embassy in Japan, the Tokyo Legal Affairs Bureau, and other organizations. On both Bilibili and X platforms, this video received hundreds of thousands of views, sparking widespread discussion among Chinese and Japanese netizens. One Chinese individual argued that it was a matter of personal wish. It matters from a moral point of view, but not on a legal level. Another person said that choosing customers should be the freedom of the restaurant owner. There are many restaurants in China that prohibit Japanese or foreigners from entering, so there shouldn't be double standards in this case. Some people believe that when a store prohibits a customer of a particular race or nationality from entering, it's likely to be deemed discriminatory. It may violate civil law and the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination. It's a UN convention to which Japan is a signatory. After the man took the lead in accusing the restaurant, the story can be said to have instantly ignited public sentiment, attracting a flurry of Chinese bloggers to copy the man. Later, the restaurant removed the note. This afternoon, I received a notice from the Chinese embassy in Japan that the embassy took this matter seriously and is taking action. So, now let's see what's going on at the restaurant. The sign saying Chinese aren't allowed inside has been taken out. This story is far from being over. People have found that things are getting weird. Some Japanese-speaking netizens noticed that the Chinese translation of the video seemed to be problematic. Let's take a look at what's going on.
Hello everyone. Recently, wasn't there a Japanese restaurant filmed by a blogger that went viral? I'm going to take a look at it from a perspective other than that of a marketing strategy. He's streaming right now. Let's click in and see the video. The first thing he did was to check out the entrance of the restaurant. He said it was because of the sign that said the Chinese and Koreans weren't allowed to enter. He said he was going to confront the owner, but he wouldn't translate the writing in black. It was written in big letters. We can see it, and it says to prevent viruses. You can tell. This word is virus, which is the Japanese for the English word virus. You can also see the Chinese characters for and prevention. But the blogger didn't tell us that. He just went inside to confront the owner. The blogger asked the owner why in Japanese and then translated the owner's response as, "Chinese people make me sick." But when I listened to the video, I could tell he definitely didn't say Chinese people make me sick, because there was no mention of Chinese people or sick. In the Japanese, he said, the owner's reply can be clearly heard. The owner replied with the Japanese words sick and because. We can hear the two words sick and because in Japanese. Combined with the mention of prevention in front of the restaurant, we can translate the owner's response as, because the virus can make people sick. The owner has already told the man the reason why. During this period of time, there are a lot of people inside the fever clinic who have caught a cold, including me. I was sick not long ago. The owner spoke in Japanese and said the blogger was noisy. The blogger was making a big fuss when he entered the restaurant, and the owner already explained the reason for it. But the blogger didn't translate it in his video, so it has angered a lot of people who don't speak Japanese. But he actually did the translation with his own agenda. He acted as if he was a justice warrior and went on a crusade with the restaurant owner. This blogger, an online sensation, knows what people like to see and what makes them high. Everyone lashes out and vents together. So does it have the effect of anti-discrimination, or does it have the opposite effect? Then maybe those people don't really care.
Many young Chinese want an online career of becoming a web sensation, making money through online traffic. Under the CCP regime, one of the key strategies to gain online traffic is to be patriotic and to love the party. The CCP often allows online traffic to patriotic bloggers or patriotic topics to incite nationalism and divert public attention from major socioeconomic tensions at hand. A recent example was in September 2023 when the CCP authorities took the lead in hyping up the nuclear wastewater discharges by Japan. What was the social tension at that time? The CCP flooded a city in Hebei that was on high ground in order to preserve the Chang'an New Area, a pet project of the CCP leader that was located on the low ground. The victims had no government assistance, along with the overall economic deterioration across China and the sharp increase in unemployment in the urban areas. People also began to reflect on why so many Chinese online celebrities went to visit the restaurant. Is it really for patriotic reasons? Maybe it's because, as the lady said, they know what content most people like to watch. As an old Chinese saying goes, the world is swarming with people for profit. How competitive it is to be a live streamer and operate a self-media in China nowadays is clear to viewers who follow our channel. In addition to the misleading translation, a few days later, Chinese people were surprised to see that the arrogant online celebrities had changed their tones and wanted people to stop talking about the story. So now this restaurant is what it is. It stinks that no one will go near it. I'm sorry everyone, we have tried to report positive news, report on justice, not purposefully waste public resources on a piece of garbage, right? The story has lost its news value. You guys are asking me, do you still dare to film it? If you viewers want to film it, do it yourselves. Why do you ask me to do it? When he said the story has lost its news value, it's to a degree to have confirmed the lady's argument that he did this story for the sake of gaining online traffic and publicity. Brothers, a couple of days ago I posted a video about a restaurant that banned Chinese people. It was pretty hot and a lot of people left me with messages. We reported what was there. This matter should end now. There was no need to continue it anymore because I indeed went to the restaurant, but the owner wasn't around and I didn't find anyone to speak to. To be honest, in Japan, this kind of Japanese people, according to my experience in Japan for more than 10 years, are actually very few. Japan is generally considered a harmonious country. I have said before that this country doesn't have a lot of discrimination. This small group of people may have their own agendas or unspeakable reasons, but the way they act is absolutely unacceptable to the Chinese. But this matter should end here now. Let's stop here and have a little bit of understanding. Of course, if we see similar behavior again, we will certainly take action again. So let's stop here and don't further expand its influence. It's not a good story. Let's focus on spreading positive energy and forget about the bad experience, okay? You have asked me to visit the restaurant and I did. Let's stop it here and stop talking about it. The owner has already removed the sign. He has already shown his attitude, right? If people have any recollection, they would remember how aggressive this online sensation was then, and now he seems like a different person. This flip-flopping attitude feels familiar and is the same as when the CCP wants to cool something down and dispel rumors. So, what has happened? After being harassed on December 9th, the incident spread throughout Japan. Many Japanese people came out to support the restaurant owner so he was protected from harassment and disruption of business operations. For example, a former Toshima district legislator for the Reform Party of Japan posted 2 photos of the restaurant on his X page on December 15, 2023. He stated that the photos were taken at the restaurant because he was worried about the restaurant owner. With the support of the Japanese public, the restaurant didn't become a place that no one dared to dine in, as was described by the online bloggers. On the contrary, the business is booming, with a lineup of customers. To be specific, it's not that no one dares to go near it anymore, it's that those online bloggers dare not approach it anymore. On December 15, 2023, a Taiwanese user posted an article with advice for the Japanese restaurant owner that's being harassed by Chinese people. He said that those Chinese bloggers only want to draw some traffic by visiting the restaurant. So, the way to get rid of them, instead of asking them to leave or calling the police, the owner should post messages all over the restaurant about June 4th Tiananmen Square massacre and show support for Taiwan's independence, or just tell them in the face, "I support June 4 Tiananmen Square movements, Tibetan independence, Xinjiang independence, and Taiwan independence." Then they won't dare to come make a scene anymore. The advice was translated and shared by Japanese netizens. It was quickly adopted by the restaurant in question. Messages such as Xi Jinping's Pooh Bear costume and the phrase Hong Kong independence have been plastered on the restaurant's entrance. The owner has even gone on to change the menu to pictures of the June 4th Tiananmen Square massacre. This was instantly effective. Web celebrities who went to the restaurant for the sake of expressing so-called patriotism stopped going after the owner put up a large number of anti-CCP messages. It said one blogger accidentally included such slogans in his video, and his video was taken down by the CCP's online police. The CCP has a unique political system. If necessary, it can direct Chinese people to hate Japan today and the US tomorrow. Such propaganda is a daily routine, so to speak. However, the negative reaction from the international community towards the CCP, or the many bad things it has done towards the Chinese people, are not something that the CCP wants Chinese people to know. So, any videos that contain such information will be removed, not to mention giving traffic to them. The CCP's anti-Japanese wave or incitement of nationalism is done out of social needs. So what is the situation in Chinese society now? Against the backdrop of China's overall economic decline, there is another specific situation. That is, the CCP has more and more enemies in the international political arena, which makes the CCP a little scared and feels troublesome. The CCP leader has just gone on a state visit to Vietnam, in large part because Vietnam just signed a comprehensive strategic partnership with Japan. Against such a background, patriotic bloggers distorted the facts and got aggressive for the sake of getting online traffic. It has left a bad impression on the Japanese people, and the Japanese political circle is aware of the public opinion. If this incident is allowed to escalate, it will aggravate the rivalry between the Japanese and Chinese governments at a high level. In addition, there will be general elections in Taiwan in January 2024. The special relationship between Japan and Taiwan will only intensify the resentment of the Taiwanese people and the Japanese people against the CCP because of the incident, which is conducive for the anti-communist political party to stay in power. China's desire to swallow up Taiwan was the country's national policy as they strive for world hegemony. It's not because of which political party or related to any candidate and their policies. You also cannot stop it by accepting everything China advocates. Do not foolishly allow China to define Taiwan independence. The CCP should have realized the consequence, so these patriotic online celebrities have calmed down. If things continue to fester and cause irreparable damage to the Beijing government, these little pinks may just vanish from China's web. Many Chinese are watching with a sense of amusement. What they may not realize is that the irrational and ignorant behavior of little pinks will not only tarnish the CCP's own image, but will also adversely affect the image of many Chinese people at home and abroad. In this incident, ordinary Chinese living in Japan will inevitably be affected. According to Chinese media reports, the number of Chinese who have settled in Japan with long-term resident status is close to 1 million. After going through the series of events, it's likely the Japanese people could develop a negative view of ordinary Chinese migrants living in Japan. Overseas Chinese need to wake up and realize that having come this far, the continued existence of the CCP will only do harm to themselves and the world. It's fair to say by the time the CCP really disintegrates, all people in the world, including overseas Chinese, will live more freely.